Yom Tov. Good day. It's the 17th day of May 2019. This is Stephen Bruck with Messianic Moment Ministries. And to my friend Sabina, if you're watching, God bless you, sweetheart, and happy birthday tomorrow. Now, in this reading from the Torah, we're given the instructions for celebrating the Sabbatical Year and the Year of Jubilee. Now, the Sabbatical Year, which is called the Shemita, is the Sabbath rest for the land. Just as every seventh day the people rested, every seventh year the land would also get a rest. And God promised that in the sixth year, the produce would be great enough to be able to feed the landowner and his whole family and animals, not just for the sixth year, but for the next 2 years as well, until the planting that started in the year after the Shemitah was harvestable. You know, that sounds just like the promise that God kept, of course, regarding the collection of manna in the desert on the sixth day, which lasted for 2 days over the Shabbat, instead of only lasting till the next morning as it did on the other 6 days of the week. The Shemita also gave us rest from the burden of debt, and that all debts were to be released in the Shemitah year. Now, this was only for debts within the Israelite community, and it did not affect debts to or from non-Israelites. Now, the Jubilee year, which is called the Yovel, occurs the year after every 7th Shemitah year, or essentially every 50th year. It is a year of rest as well, but not just a rest for the land, but a rest from slavery or debt bondage. In the Jubilee year, all property was to be returned to the hereditary owners, and all slaves, again, only Jewish slaves, in other words, within fellow Israelites, all the slaves were to be set free. In fact, the Jubilee year was really the basis for buying and selling of land and people in debt bondage, inasmuch as the cost of land or freedom from bondage was to be prorated, you could even say amortized, based on how much production from the land or person could be expected by the next Jubilee year. So, I gotta ask, why all this resting, right? I mean, didn't God know about type A personalities? What are they supposed to do with themselves when there's no work to be performed? Well, maybe God instructed these different times of rest, the Shabbat, the Shemitah, and the Yovel, so that we could have a moment in which to stop worrying about our life and start thinking about our eternity. Maybe God was thinking that if He made sure we had nothing that required us to concentrate on ourselves or what we were doing, we could then concentrate on what is really important, where we will be going. People are inherently self-centered. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we are selfish or egotistic. It just means that when we receive input from the world, we identify and relate it to personal experience and understanding. Essentially, we are each of us the center of our universe, and as such, we relate everything to ourselves. When we have nothing to worry about, nothing to occupy our time doing, well, we can then settle down and kind of expand our vision, so to speak, and try to see things from someone else's eyes. In the Bible, God gives us His view of the world and the people in it. We are given the opportunity to see and understand things from a totally different viewpoint. And when there is nothing else to do but study the Bible, we can mature both spiritually and emotionally because we learn to see things the way others see it. Now, notice that I say we have the opportunity to see and understand others' viewpoints. As with everything in life, there are those who will open their minds and open their hearts to others, and there are those that just refuse to acknowledge anyone else's feelings or opinions. Every covenant and promise God has given to us, He has given as an open-ended agreement. He always keeps His end of the bargain, but we have the choice to accept or reject His covenants and promises. And the way we demonstrate acceptance or rejection is through obedience. When we obey God's instructions that he gave in the Torah, which, just for the record, Yeshua confirmed and discussed in spiritual terms, when we obey those instructions, we will receive those things that God promised. When we disobey, be it by volition, ignorance, or instruction from others, meaning a religion's doctrines, we reject God and will not receive all the blessings he has for us. You know, God isn't just willing to bless us, he desires to bless us tremendously. And how much we receive is directly proportional to how well we follow his instructions. It's easy. He wants us to obey as a love response and a result of trusting him. And, you know, he doesn't really care why we disobey. I'm going to finish this message with what I believe is a really interesting thought. You don't have to wait for one of God's Shabbat rests before you rest. You can take a Shabbat anytime you want to. Since I've retired, I am still active. I mean, as this ministry 3 times a week shows, and I work out and I play golf. But I still like to think I am on a perpetual Shabbat. I don't have to do nothing if I don't want to. And I am much more relaxed than I ever was when I was a member of the rat race. And don't get me wrong, I like my job. But I like not having to do it even better. So enjoy the Shabbat that God has instructed you to enjoy. Take a break from your own life and learn about others. Expand yourself emotionally and spiritually by concentrating on something and someone other than yourself. Try it. You'll like it. And I think you'll find it very restful. So thank you for being here. And please don't forget to subscribe to the website and my YouTube channel here. Click on the Messianic Moment icons in the corners. Go back to the website. Click on the subscribe button in the right-hand margin. And I really welcome your comments. I really like to hear them, whether you agree or vehemently disagree. That's fine. Just all I ask is that you be nice in the way you make your comments. And please share me out. Go buy my books. If you like what you hear here, you're going to like the books. I guarantee it. I welcome you all the time. And tonight begins God's weekly Shabbat. So, of course, I wish you all Shabbat Shalom. And until next time, V'hitraot and Baruch Hashem.